Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we'll be taking a look at the Tier 7 Premium American Battleship that everybody just seems to love. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. We'll get into that a little later. The Georgia. The Georgia. This ship came out actually like a couple years ago. I had it at one point. This was back when like Tier 7 campaigns weren't that cool. Back when Tier 7s didn't make as much credits. So just keep that in mind, okay? So I recently got this ship back. That's right, I got it back. I used to have a major ship selling problem. Yeah, I was one of those people. So yeah, mainly premium ships. I sold a lot of premiums back in the day. Luckily, I'm getting a lot of them back. I have most of the premium ships that I want back in my port. So yeah, in case you guys are wondering, how do you get ships back that you've sold? Premium ships, that is. Well, you have to go to wowslegends.com, and then you have to go to support. You gotta find, scroll through there, click through things, and contact support, and then create a ticket. Just click around, you'll get to it eventually. If you're smart and you're pretty tech savvy, it's not that hard to figure out. You just go to their support forum, okay? Go to their support forum and create a ticket. All right. Anyway, nonetheless, yeah. Georgia. So a little kind of a review of 2024 here. So yeah, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So for the upgrades in Loadout, we have main battery mod 2, we have propulsion mod 2, we have concealment systems mod 1, and we have artillery plotting room mod 2. This is actually a legendary mod as well. I spent the 1500 doubloons, or the 1500 steel, to get this modification upgraded. So my dispersion, actually it doesn't even, oh yeah, so every time I get 30,000 damage, so every 30,000 damage I get an extra minus 2% to my reload. So I get quicker reloading guns, or not guns, I get better accuracy. What am I talking about today? Sorry, it is like 1 in the morning. I'm trying to get this video done and get it out there for you guys, so don't mind me. I'm a little, my brain's a little weird today. But yeah, so you get extra dispersion, 2% extra minus dispersion every 30,000 damage, and every kill you get an extra 5% damage per every kill you get in game. So this is a really nice skill to have, or skill, I say skill, it's a modification, Ghost. See, my brain's all over tonight, or this morning now. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the loadout here. So we have high explosive shells, we have some armor piercing shells, we'll cover these in this in the specs tab, of course. For consumables, we have standard damage control parties. We got 3 repair parties. We got 3 spotters right now. You can put on a fighter. You can put on an enhanced secondary targeting consumable, but I prefer to run a spotter for that extra plus 10 to my shell grouping. You need all the accuracy you can get. And finally, we are running an engine boost as well. So comes with an engine boost. So pretty cool. The Georgia is a fast battleship. We will cover that in the specs tab as well. For our flag, we are running the Fleet Pioneer flag, along with the Type 9 camouflage that the ship comes with. Now, one thing I want to mention as well, before we move on to the specs, you cannot get the Georgia anymore. So if any of you guys are wondering, how do I get the Georgia, Ghost? Well, there is no way of getting it. The only way I think you can get it now is out of like a secret Santa container. It's locked behind crates. This was a campaign ship back in the day. So if you missed it out, unfortunately, you can't get it. I don't think they put it in the store for GXP yet anyway, so yeah. Unfortunately, this one is it's a rare commodity. Now, moving on to the specs. We have 65,800 hit points, and we have a 26% torpedo damage reduction. Pretty average for the tier. Nothing too scary, nothing too special there. For the artillery, we have some big ol' 457 millimeter 17.9 inch guns. Since we're American, we're just going to round that up to 18 inches. They're not 18.1 inch guns, so they do not overmatch 32 millimeters of armor. Now, you have 6 of these giant 17, 18 inch guns, whatever you want to call them. We'll just call them 18 inch guns just to make y'all happy. You get 4 off the bow here. You get 2 turrets, both having 2 guns each, so 2 barrels on each turret, and you get 1 in the back as well. Okay, 6 Georgia guns. These are the same exact guns that are found on the Georgia up at Legendary tier. The Georgia has 8 of these guns, okay? So, pretty damn spicy stuff Indeed. So these are very big freaking guns. If you get hit by a Georgia, you are gonna fucking feel it, okay? Especially if those shells penetrate you, and especially if those shells find a citadel. These shells hurt. Let's go back over to the artillery and cover that exactly. So right now we've got 19-kilometer firing range on my build, 26-second reload on my build, and the 180-degree turn time on the turrets is pretty good, around 28 seconds. The HE shell maximum damage with a citadel hit is 6,400 with a 43% chance of setting fires. And here's the AP that we were just talking about. If you get hit by these AP shells, you will feel it. Up to 18,000 damage on these AP shells. That can get even higher depending on your commander builds. So these are some very nasty, hard-hitting guns. If these guns decide to work, if RNG is not shafting you, you're going to have a good time in the Georgia. Okay, these guns are nasty when they want to be. Now moving on to the AA defense. The AA is phenomenal. This is an American battleship, so yeah, it has good AA. I'm sure most of you guys know by now, but in case you don't, after Pearl Harbor, American ships basically all went crazy with their anti-aircraft. If you guys don't know what happened at Pearl Harbor, Japanese aircraft bombed our ships, absolutely crapped on a lot of our battleships. So we didn't want to make that mistake again. We put anti-aircraft on basically everything. Okay, we don't want no more plane problems. We still had some plane problems, but at least we could defend ourselves. But anyway, just one thing to point out too, the Georgia was never a thing. The Georgia in real life was never a thing. It was never built. It was never constructed. This is basically an imaginary ship, okay? It looks kind of like an Iowa, not gonna lie, but different, so it's not exactly. But, you know, anyway. Nonetheless, yeah, AA is good, the artillery is good. Good guns, good AA. Now for the maneuverability. Pretty damn good. 29.7 knots speed currently. Now, obviously, if I put on a epic battle booster, that goes out to 30 knots. So you can be sailing around the map going 30 knots, smacking people with these 18-inch guns. The turning circle radius is 890 meters with a 17.3-second rudder shift. So overall, you have pretty good maneuverability. The turning circle and the rudder shift, pretty bad, right? Pretty bad. This is a very long ship. See, as you guys can see, it's a long ship. It's pretty big, so it's going to be kind of clunky when it turns and whatnot. So you really do got to be thinking about your positioning, your maneuverability, and you got to be careful not to overextend in this ship. You have a lot of superstructure, which we will cover in the armor viewer. It's an American battleship, and you have a lot of flatness if you get exposed like this, okay? So you got to be careful. But as long as you can angle and do your thing and position well, you can have a decent time in Georgia in terms of not taking damage, and you can put out lots of damage if your guns actually decide to work in your favor. Now moving on to the concealment. The final thing here in the specs tab. Currently, my concealment range by sea is 13.3. My detectability range by air is 11.2. My guaranteed detectability range is 2 kilometers, of course, with a 15-kilometer detection while firing in a smokescreen. Moving on to the armor. So the armor, you have 32 millimeters of armor on the bow and on the stern. So anything with 15-inch guns, anything with 15-inch guns or smaller, or actually no, sorry, 16-inch guns. Anything with 16-inch guns or smaller will not be able to overmatch you unless they load high explosive, of course. High explosive shells have different overmatch values. Usually they can just get damage around your, bow and stuff. No problem at all. But they can't citadel you, obviously, but still they can get damage and set fires. But obviously, armor-piercing shells, you should have no problem ricocheting, aka auto-bouncing, basically anything up to 16 inches. Now, obviously, you got to worry about Musashis. Musashis are the only thing you have to worry about out there on the high seas, okay? Because Musashi has 18.1-inch guns. They are 460-millimeter guns. One thing I want to pull up again for you, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls out there, is this little calculator here, okay? So this calculator, I'm going to show you guys an equation that tells you the overmatch, and it's actually pretty simple, so don't click off the video. It's really simple stuff, okay? So, for example, the Georgia, right? The Georgia, we already went over this. The Georgia has 457-millimeter guns. So you put that in the calculator, okay? 457-millimeter guns, and you divide that by 14.3. You can do this with any shell type in the game. So if you have a cruiser that has 8-inch 203-millimeter guns, you can use the same exact equation, 203 divided by 14.3. 14.3 divided by whatever. Okay, you can use that on anything. You click equal, and you get the overmatch value. So these guns, these 17.9 457 millimeter armor-piercing shells, can only overmatch 31 millimeters. So heading back over to the game, we know that most battleships at Tier 7 have 32 millimeters of armor. Pretty much every single Tier 7 battleship in the game has 32 millimeters of bow armor everywhere. So you're not going to be able to overmatch really any battleship. Maybe the British battle cruisers and stuff, obviously, because those have less armor, and some German ships. But overall, you're not going to be able to overmatch people. So you're going to need, if people are angling, you're going to be needing to aim up in the superstructure and whatnot, okay? Pretty important stuff. But yeah. Anyway, if you need to pause the video at any time, come back to that. Use that equation on anything in the game. Like if you're shooting a destroyer round, a lot of destroyers have 120 millimeter guns. You can use that same exact equation, right? You can go back. I'm going to clear the calculator. Whoops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm clicking on OBS. Oopsies. But yeah, 120 millimeter guns, right? 120 divided by 14.3. It's the same exact number every time. 120 millimeter 4.9 inch guns can overmatch 8 millimeters of armor with the armor-piercing shells. Okay, don't just ignore these little numbers here. These don't really matter. It's this one right here. Okay, so 8. You can overmatch 8 millimeters. For example, a Yamato, 460 millimeters divided by 14.3. Yamato can overmatch 32 millimeters. That's what makes Yamato so powerful in this game. It has the overmatch. It can overmatch pretty much every single battleship in the game. Almost. There's some out there that have icebreakers and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, with that out of the way, that is just something I want to start pointing out more. You guys should be pulling up your calculators on your phones, on your computers, whatever you got, and just type that out. It's really simple stuff. You just come into the specs, you look at your artillery, you look at your main battery size, 457 millimeters. So 457 divided by 14.3, it gives you the exact overmatch value. Okay, really, really helpful stuff. You guys should know by now how I am. I try to help you all out. I try to teach you all things. So anyway, going back to the armor, let's cover the other things about this ship here. So the superstructure. You have a lot of superstructure. It's an American ship. A lot of Tier 7 battleships have a lot of superstructure, so high explosive is a problem. Okay? One thing to mention, too, you only have, like, 32 millimeters of deck armor, and you have some 50 millimeter deck armor, but not a lot. So HE's gonna be a problem for the most part. So you want to be using your positioning to your advantage and just being careful, keeping your head on a swivel, turning away, moving your battleship around, making it harder for those high explosive spammers, right? This ship right here is a flanker. It's got great speed, it's got engine boosts, so it can literally actually get out on the flank and sneak up on people and absolutely obliterate people, if the opportunity allows it, right? Anyway, taking away all of that stuff, the Citadel. The Citadel is pretty much directly at the waterline, so during a brawl, you do have to be a little careful, but for the most part, it is pretty hard to hit, okay? The George's armor is really good. Like, it's pretty thick. So, Citadels at close range, not as common. It still can happen, but it's not as common. But definitely at medium to longer ranges, where plunging fire is a lot more prevalent, that is an issue. Okay, you can 100% be Citadeled in Georgia at longer to medium ranges, so 15 kilometers plus, even 13 to 10 kilometers. I mean, you can get Citadeled. As long as those shells are arcing down, and they're big enough, and they have the pen, they will absolutely nuke you. So that's something you have to be careful about. Using your armor wisely, swinging out, getting your guns, angling back in, that whole kind of deal is extremely important. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? Using your brain, ladies and gentlemen, positioning is key. It's very important. It increases your survival rate, that is for sure. Anyway, moving on to the final thing of the review portion. I do apologize that this is going on for a little long, but I do try to teach you guys a little bit here and there. I try to help everybody out. A lot of people are starting this game new, so I want to make sure y'all are learning as much as you can. Feel free to always come back, pause things if you need to remember something or what have you, or jog your memory, right? That's what I'm all about here. Anyway, also, I forgot to mention, there are timestamps. I know I'm talking a lot, sorry, but there are timestamps down below. So you guys can skip around in the video, and you can go to specific points, so you don't have to watch this whole thing through. You can actually go to where you need to go if you're just wanting to watch specific parts of today's video. But anyway, let's look at the commander. We're running William Sims. We do have a commander guise on. It's completely cosmetic, so it says Tony P. Westdriver, but we're actually running William Sims. We are running Auto Celiax and Andrew Cunningham as inspirations. Auto Celiax increases our main battery AP shell damage almost up to 5%. Obviously, Andrew Cunningham increases our main battery shell grouping up to almost 5%. So pretty nice inspirations here. For the base trait, we have Built to Last. So our HP per tier is increased by 400. So if you do the math, I'm not very good at math. So what, 400 times 7. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So 400 times 7. And we get an additional 2,800 HP. So not really that important, but hey, it's something, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, you get an extra bit of HP. We have Flammable Cannoneer. This is nice to have because it increases our range, so we can hit people out further. It increases our shell grouping as well. Okay, the only downside is it increases your chance of getting set on fire, but I'll be real with y'all. I always tell people this. I get set on fire regardless of what build I run. If I'm running an anti-fire build, if I'm putting on Fire with Fire, it doesn't matter. I burn. Nobody can convince me to take off Will Rebuild again. I tried for a month to run, Fight Fire with Fire and a bunch of other anti-fire builds, and it just didn't work. I burned still. No matter what, I burn. There's nothing you can do about it, okay? Something just I learned to accept at this fucking point in the juncture. We are running also Gyrating Drill Bits, main gun, battleship traverse speed, plus 1.5 degrees a second. So that's nice, obviously. Battleship main AP shell damage is also increased by 10%. The only downside, though, with this skill is your battleship speed is reduced from by about 10%. So there's a little downside, but still you get a lot of value with your guns. I think this is very important, okay? We're also running Marksmanship. This decreases our main battery dispersion, so it makes our guns more accurate. Nice, right? Pretty self-explanatory. But the other downside, though, is it increases our rudder shift. So we are slightly slow and we're slightly less turning with these two skills here. Not that noticeable, really, with the speed. George is pretty fast by itself, so I don't really care. And finally, for the regular skills here, we're running Reaching Out XXL. This just increases our main battery range an additional 4%. And here we go. For our legendary skill, we're running, of course, Will to Rebuild. It increases our amount of HP restored and recovered up to 110%. And the only downside here, though, is it decreases our repair party duration minus 50%. So, yeah, really, that's not even a bad thing. The fact that you can heal a lot more and quicker, that's not really a bad thing. Repair party duration. So we can we heal a lot more, and our repair party lasts less time. So you're healing more, and it heals faster. So I don't think that's really a downside. I don't know why Wargaming was marking that down. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Nonetheless, this has gone on for long enough. He's a level 16 Legendary 4 Commander, and nonetheless, I will bring you all over to the gameplay portion of today's video. I hope you all do enjoy it. Alrighty, so here we are in the gameplay portion of the video. So a little bit of a live comms sort of deal. Once again, so right after the review portion, I decided to just hop in a game, play a game, and see what happens, right? These kind of matches, the ones that I'm actually playing live with you guys, right now I'm actually playing, they seem a little bit more genuine, you know what I mean? I'm not cherry picking the games. So I think you guys should be a lot more appreciative of that. So we're just going to play and see what happens. So, right off the bat, looks like we have Tier 6 and 7 lobby, so it's not horrible. We do have a carrier game, it's a Saipan, so, there's that. There's that to look forwards to. Anyway, not really, though. So right off the bat, the first thing I want to do is go to the side that is weaker. That being the right side. Well, Dr. Ghost, how do you know the right side is weaker? Well, just take a look. That side on the left has a carrier, they got a Flandra, they got a Scharnhorst, they got a Boise, they're about to have a destroyer. That side is definitely more stronger than the right side, because the right side only has a cruiser and a battleship. So, I am going to move over to the right, and I'm going to support that side to the best of my ability. And I say to the best of my ability because, well, to the best of my ability. You never know what could happen. You can go to a side, you can help a side, and shit can still happen. So, right off the bat, we're getting targeted by the carrier. So, you know, you gotta love that. The fun police are already entering our game. So, it looks like this Atlantico is turning broadside, so we're gonna take a shot. We're gonna take a shot with the 18-inch guns. And unfortunately, they don't do a whole lot of anything, so yeah, you gotta love that. Broadside, pretty over-angled Atlantico at least. Yeah, nothing happens, so really not a whole lot you can do about that. Now, the Fun Police is just making our day really enjoyable here, and yeah, he's able to get a strike off twice, because, you know, Fun Police. Seems pretty balanced. Already half of my health gone. 2 drops. Apparently my AA did nothing. So, yeah, Wargaming. Hey, you wanna fucking fix that shit? Pardon my language, but not really. I mean, that's some fucking bullshit right there. Straight up. Nonetheless, I don't want to get demonetized here. Let's still keep fighting on. Let's try our best, right? Never give up. We got a broadside New Orleans here, and unfortunately, we don't do a whole lot of anything. We get 11,000 damage, but no Citadel, apparently. Okay, checks out. Roger that. So it must have been like a full penetration or something. But yeah, anyway, we've lost about 3/4 of our HP to 2 strikes from a carrier, because carriers. So you gotta love that. We are still just trying to shoot this frickin' New Orleans. Those shells should be able to kill him here, and yep, down he goes. That's our first blood, and well, we're about to die. I mean, look at this. Look at this, we're already dead. Is that really going to be the video? Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? We're about to have a heal, though, and we're about to have a damage control, so that's nice. This looks like this Alabama's over-angling a little bit, so we're going to see if we can't aim a little high, because he's not perfectly broadside, so I want to hit his upper belt superstructure, and just like that, we do hit his upper belt, and we hit his superstructure, and we smack him for about 11 to 12, 13,000 there. Not too shabby at all. Currently, our Brandenburg is in a brawl with that Alabama, so that's fun. And actually, that Brandenburg is going to torpedo that Alabama, so that's fun. And down he goes. So far, the team is doing pretty decent. They've taken out a cruiser, and we just taken out a battleship. We're about to get the Alpha Cap. He's starting to flip that. And, yeah. But no, seriously, going back to that carrier thing, that's some bullcrap. Like, Georgia has phenomenal AA, and yet that carrier can just somehow launch 2 back-to-back strikes on me with full 4 torpedo squad drops. Full 4 torpedo drops. That's a little bit of a mouthful there to say. So, pardon me, but yeah, like that's pretty fucking nuts. And then he can like basically take almost 3/4 of my HP with 2 drops. Like, is that balanced, Wargaming? Like, is that really balanced? Man. Anyway, nonetheless, let's get back into the game here. So we're up to 34,000 damage. So far, we just haven't done a whole lot. I mean, we haven't really been able to. We had to turn away from carriers' planes because reasons. Yeah, not too fun so far. Not a very fun game at all thus far. Because, you know, fun police are in the game. They're called the fun police for a reason. So, yeah, really not that enjoyable. And he's still just launching away on our battleship here, the Brandenburg, and he's really making his life a living hell. So, you gotta love that, right? But anyway, our team did just take out another battleship. We're currently at 472 points, and the enemy team only has 200 points. They only got 1 cap. That's not going to keep them in the lead. Like, that's not going to, you know, do a lot for them. They got to do some things. If they want to win this game, they got to do some things. So, it all comes up to them here. So what I'm trying to do is just head to the south to regroup with this Plymouth here to get a little bit of extra AA coverage. Not like it's going to matter anyway, because it's a carrier. No matter how good your AA is, he can still come in and get a strike off because reasons. So, you gotta love that. Anyway, we just shot down 1 plane. Looks like one guy shot down another. He's still got 4 planes up in the air. Oh, there's another one gone. I sure hope. You know, I mean, it's not like he's entering an AA bubble of dreams right now. And, oh, the Akazuki spotted. So we're going to hold our shot here, or we're going to hold our aim here, so we can, yeah, kill him. He's on no HP. I don't really know what he's trying to accomplish here. So, and of course, I miss him. I miss him. I miss him at 5.5 kilometers. Brother. Yeah. So Wargaming really doesn't want me to have a good game, I guess. Oh my god. Isn't that incredible, ladies and gentlemen? So yeah, this is your average DrGhostGames experience right here. This is my average match. Oh man. That is insane. Like, that is straight up insane. Anyway, we got a Mogami over-angled out here. I take a shot. Let's see if we can't do some decent things to him. Ooh, there we go. There we go. That's a really good hit. That's a Citadel. That Mogami lost over half of his health. He's not having fun at all. He's not having fun at all. But then again, he did make a mistake. He went broadside. He got punished for it. So you gotta love to see that. We're gonna shoot once again. Those shells look pretty accurate. Those look really good. Are they gonna get them? There we go. Hey, the RNG. The RNG is catching up. But oh no, we have 2 Atlanticos here. It looks like I have made a very big error in my ways here. But luckily I'm unspotted, so I'm not getting shot yet. Hopefully I can get the RNG to absolutely nuke this guy and finish him so I can stop the secondary spam. And it looks like I can. That's almost 20,000 damage right there. On that one hit, you gotta love that. I'm gonna real quick put out this fire because nobody likes fires. And yeah, I'm probably gonna get set on fire again anyway by the carrier, so, you know, because fun police, right? Because fun police. Anyway, we're doing pretty good. Despite us getting absolutely shafted by RNG, we're still doing pretty good despite that. So I will take it. I will freaking take it. Now, it looks like all of our shells just landed right on his belt. I was trying to hit him, like, right in the center line, but unfortunately they landed low. So they basically auto-bounced, and, yeah, nothing I can really do there. Maybe I could have aimed a little higher up into his superstructure. Well, not maybe, I know I should have. I should have aimed a little higher, but hey, you know, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And, unfortunately, that is the end of our game here. But hey, despite us losing 3/4 of our HP, despite us losing 3/4 of our HP at the beginning of the game to the Fun Police, the Fun Police, and despite the RNG being a little trolly here and there, we still had a pretty decent game. Not a good game, not a great game, just a decent game, right? But yeah, anyways, with all that being said, I hope you all did enjoy this little bit here in the Georgia. Not a bad ship at all. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the Georgia. I mean, hey, I like it so far. Despite it being a little trolly here and there, since it is a 6-gun battleship, you know? But, you know, hey, you take what you can get, right? For, you know, losing most of our HP at the beginning of the game and having some weird RNG here and there, I will take this result here. Not a bad game. 97,000 damage, 26 main battery hits. 13 planes shot down, we got some ships destroyed, we got some sits, we got an assistant cap, we did pretty good. And we were top of the leaderboard with only 90k damage. Like, you know, it's not a bad game at all. So it's a pretty average game. You can have some monster games in Georgia. Georgia is one of those battleships that has a lot of potential. It's a pretty old battleship too. I mean, it's not old. It's about a year or 2 years old, right? So yeah, not a bad ship at all. Still really good. Still really solid. I do like it. I do really like it. So I'm gonna keep it around. I'm gonna play it here and there. And yeah. Anyways, if you all did enjoy today's video, be sure to go down there and let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. And make sure also to, of course, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We are getting closer to our next milestone with every single subscriber, new subscriber that is. So if you guys want to help out the channel, do all that stuff. It is free at the end of the day. Hitting the like button, believe it or not, hitting the subscribe button, but mainly hitting the like button can actually help out the algorithm. It helps the video get recommended in the YouTube algorithm. So all the support is greatly appreciated, everybody. Nonetheless, though, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weeks. That's the Georgia. Hope you all did enjoy. Nonetheless, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay healthy, as always.